Hi, welcome to Lachlan Likes a Thing, a show where I take a thing and see whether or not I like it. Now the thing we're looking at in this video is the new 2014 version of the HP Chromebook 11. And this model actually replaces the previous generation of the HP Chromebook 11, which was a collaboration between HP and Google. Now, if you've been following my channel as a regular subscriber, you'd know that I actually managed to buy one of these HP Chromebook 11s a few weeks back in May before it was officially announced, and I've been using it for a few weeks, waiting for official US pricing to come out so that I could make this review video. Now official US pricing has been announced. It is coming in at $249 recommended retail. I bought it from an Australian electronics retailer for about $330. But to be completely honest, if I wasn't waiting around for that, I would have returned this model immediately after I bought it, just because I would have exchanged it for the previous generation HP Chromebook 11 or any of the currently competing Chromebooks on the market. And let's really get into the reasons why. Let's start with the design. I think HP has made quite an attractive design here by basically miniaturizing the HP Chromebook 14. And you can get this Chromebook in this kind of powder white finish that you see here, but it also comes in a turquoise. And one of the nice things compared to the previous generation HP Chromebook 11 is that it's not glossy plastic anymore. It is a matte finish on all the surfaces, and it has a dimpled back on the bottom, which lets you kind of get a bit of texture when you hold it, so that's quite nice in the hand. However, the new design is actually heavier than the previous HP Chromebook 11. The previous one weighed 1.04 kilograms and the new one weighs 1.22 kilograms. And it's basically heavier, I suspect, because the old HP Chromebook 11 had an internal magnesium alloy frame to reinforce it, whereas this machine, I believe, is probably made out of cheaper parts, and therefore the weight has been increased overall. Overall, in terms of build, the 2014 HP Chromebook 11 is a decently built machine, but it doesn't feel quite as finely machined as the original HP Chromebook 11. And there are some areas, particularly the screen hinge, where when you rotate them, you'll hear some plastic creaking. Let's move on to the display, and this is really one of the biggest disappointments coming from the previous HP Chromebook 11. The previous HP Chromebook 11 had a really nice glossy IPS display, and it had excellent viewing angles and just really nice color contrast. The new HP Chromebook 11 has a really poor display, and even for a TN panel, this is a very poor display. So you can see that the viewing angles are absolutely terrible. In terms of vertical viewing angles, tilting the screen means that you get your colors immediately washed out, and they aren't very punchy to begin with. Horizontal viewing angles are incredibly poor. Just about the only nice thing about this display is that it has an anti-reflective matte coating on it, which means it's a little bit easier to use in sunlight, but I wouldn't trade that for the dismal display quality in most cases. I don't have the original HP Chromebook 11 to compare, but here's my Surface Pro 2 with an IPS display, and you can see immediately that the viewing angles are a huge improvement. The HP Chromebook 11 just has a really poor display even by TN panel standards. The keyboard on the HP Chromebook 11 is probably one of the nicer aspects of this machine. The keys are nicely spaced out and they have a decent tactile feel to them. They may be just a little bit mushy, but overall this seems like one of the better Chromebook keyboards out there. And if you're looking for a machine predominantly for typing, this might be one of the more attractive aspects. The keyboard is not backlit, but I've actually not seen any Chromebooks that have backlit keyboards. In terms of the trackpad, this is also one of the areas that HP got it right. The trackpad is quite large, it's nice and smooth, there's not really any hesitation in terms of the cursor, so one of the better aspects of this computer. The speakers on the HP Chromebook 11 are actually on the underside of the machine, on these two grills here, and they're down-firing speakers that in practice I've found get quite loud but also tend to distort, and because they're on the bottom of the machine, if you're using this machine on a bed or anything like that, it's very easy for these grills to become covered and the sound to be muffled. Let's talk about inputs and outputs. The HP Chromebook 11 2014 is pretty much the same as the original model. It just has a headphone input and output, two USB 2 ports, and a USB charging port. There is no USB 3 port on this laptop, there is no card reader on this laptop. This is a really big oversight compared to the currently competing Acer C720 or the Dell Chromebook 11, which both have card readers and USB 3 ports. Moving on to performance, the 2014 HP Chromebook 11 actually has the same Samsung Exynos processor and the same 2GB of RAM as found in the original HP Chromebook 11. And that model was always being criticized for poor performance. I found that that hasn't improved at all with the new version of this laptop. In terms of overall performance, you're always feeling a degree of lag. So whether you're scrolling through media-rich web pages or just even typing and waiting for search suggestions to come up, you'll find that there's constant lag throughout the interface. And this is even after I disabled Adobe Flash. Compared to any of the currently available Chromebooks which use the new Intel Haswell processors, or even the new Samsung Chromebook 2 which has an updated Samsung Exynos processor, the HP Chromebook 11 2014 has a processor that is extremely dated by today's standards. And it's lag that I'm used to seeing from maybe a tablet computer, but not from a full-sized laptop. In terms of battery life, the HP Chromebook 11 2014 is, like the previous model, rated for about 6 hours of battery life. In practice, I found I got anywhere between 4 to 6 hours depending on how intensely I was using the machine. And again, this is quite poor compared to the Intel Celeron Haswell Chromebooks, which get about 8 hours of battery life now. What I've found is that the USB charging port, which is one of the interesting elements of this computer, is carried over from the original model. This means that you can use the compact charger that's included to charge by micro USB, but you can also use any other USB charger. However, I found that this is actually less useful than it sounds, because basically the included charger is a 3 amp charger, and if you use anything lower than that, this machine will not charge if you try to use it while it's plugged in. If you turn off the machine and plug it in, you can probably charge it overnight with an iPhone charger, but it's really hit and miss when you try to use different kind of third-party chargers. So I haven't talked much in this video about Chrome OS itself, but I have to say, even though this machine is quite a poor experience overall, I actually quite enjoyed using Chrome OS. And I think it's a good basic OS for people who want to do basic web browsing kind of tasks. It's actually a little step up from using a tablet computer, because you get full desktop versions of websites and you do get a full-size keyboard and trackpad, so it's a lot more precise and you get to be a little more active in how you use the computer compared to a tablet. However, I have to say, this is not the computer that I would really want to be experiencing Chromebook OS on. Anyway, I will be making a separate video just about my experiences with Chrome OS, so subscribe to my channel if you want to see that. The 2014 version of the HP Chromebook 11 is one of these rare machines in the tech world which is basically worse in every conceivable way compared to the model that it replaces. And I have basically no idea why HP made this computer, except for imagining that the new version of the HP Chromebook 11 is probably cheaper to manufacture than the original version, which had the nice IPS display and the internal magnesium alloy frame. This computer barely competes with the model that it replaces, and it certainly doesn't compete with any of the currently available Chromebooks, like the very nice Acer C720, the Dell Chromebook 11, the Toshiba Chromebook 13, and the Samsung Chromebook 2. All those computers perform faster than the HP Chromebook 11, and they have more fully featured inputs and outputs. I actually can't imagine why you would buy this computer compared to any of the other Chromebooks on the market, unless the price of this computer gets very much lower than the $249 recommended retail price. Anyway, click the like button if you found this video helpful, and I'm looking forward to your comments on this machine. You can talk to me on Facebook at facebook.com/LachlanLikesAthing, or on Twitter at LachLikesAthing. In the meantime, if you're after a HP Chromebook 11, I would try to chase down the original models before they completely run out of stock.